What's up everyone, it's Tim here from Garden State Koi. This is gonna be a little different video than you're used to. We're doing a throwback style video and we're gonna be showcasing a very, very special project that's near and dear to my heart. This is the Bronx Pondless Waterfall, which I took Artist of the Year in Pond Trade magazine. Because it was in the Bronx, New York, it was actually in a little area called Riverside, but it was a very, very big project and had a lot of challenges. Throughout this video, we're gonna run through some of the befores and the challenges that we had. One of the main challenges was getting large boulders and machines into New York City. One of our tough accesses was not only being in New York City, it was that we had to find a way into the property. And the only way to get into the property was St. John's, Vienna retirement home for retired priests. It was located right next door and it was a great access into this project. The people that worked over there were absolutely amazing. They came out and checked out what we were doing. No one ever sees big machines in New York City and stuff like this. We were taking down fences. Truckloads of rock were coming in. That was really, really awesome to have them as a neighbor next door to this project. But there was one problem. Their parking lot up above gathered all this rainwater during storms. And if you see the blank slate of the project on the side of the house, all that water would come rushing down their property. And we weren't aware of this until the first rainstorm came. So you'll see in the photo a storm grate type thing that we had to put in. And then every night we had to make sure that parking lot edge was buttoned up so that water was funneled to that grate. If not, it would start washing out our job site. And we did have a tropical storm at one point that actually did come through the job site and covered the patio down below with mud. The second challenge to this project, I would really say, was working from the bottom of the house and backyard area up. We were in a skinny alleyway and we only had one way out, and that was when we were down here working. We started off by a small pondless, which is located underneath the covered porch. That pondless from down below looks like it's all connected into one when you stand down below on the lower patio. So we started with that first, and that is a little Aquascape backyard pondless, and it's actually on an Aquascape aqua basin. And that's the coolest part because from down below, I really mean, it looks like one waterfall. So once we had that done down there, we were able to move on to the next step. And actually those were steps. So we had some staircases starting up on the bottom, and those led us up to where the pondless basin was gonna go for the upper waterfall. I had some great teammates there to help me along the way. I had my normal teammates of Aaron and Raphael working on this waterfall area. Enrique and the other guys were working on the fountains in the front yard. We were doing bubbling rocks and plantings over there. And then we had some special guests. I actually had three of them. I had Sean Frost from Naturescapes, his guy Matt from back in the day, and then the third person there was Franco from Propato Landscape. At this point of us putting in the basin and starting on the waterfall, I had Sean and Matt sending down rocks, but I had an important job for Franco that I'll never forget, and that was putting in those big, huge Norway spruces down at the bottom of the hill. Franco put in about 3 or 4 large ones, and at that point, unfortunately, there was no machine access. He actually had to carry those down with one of the other guys, get them in place, and then we had to get soil all around to pack them in. That was quite a feat, and he'll never forget that. So I want to thank you, Franco. I'll never forget that either. So as we were working on the steps and building the waterfalls, Enrique was working in the front with, I think it was Abel and Baldo, and they were doing some awesome fountains. They wadded large bubbling rocks. And due to the access over there, it was very hard to get in, like granite boulders. So we used what was called volcanic boulders. It's a volcanic rock, it's very porous, super easy to drill. And the purpose for those was to come up the staircase and see those off the left-hand side. Another really important feature was to be able to see it from inside the windows of the house. And that view from inside the window was for their mother and mother-in-law, to be able to see some water while sitting at the dining room table in the kitchen. A lot of times when we do these projects, there is multiple viewing areas that you have to keep in mind that you could see. Just like I talked about earlier with the small waterfall down below and making it look like one. When we come up to the front yard here, it is really important that that fountain is viewable as you're coming up that front steps, as well as inside from the windows. So when Enrique was working on this with the guys, he really had to pay attention to that, make sure it was tall enough, make sure everything was perfect. After that was in, he was able to surround this with some beautiful plants. We did put some mountain laurels in for some privacy off the driveway. Now let's go back over by the back waterfall. After we got the waterfall done and all the rocks were in and everything like that, instead of talking about challenges, we're gonna talk about my favorite part. And that was putting in all the plants. When I build a water feature, I always have in mind what plants should go where, but sometimes I just don't get the opportunity to do it. whether it's not in the budget, whether the homeowner wants their landscaper to do it, whether they want to do it themselves. When I get to place boulders and put what I think they need to go in there, that's when you have a true artistic waterfall. So I myself have been doing this for a lot of years. I also had my buddy Sean Frost on the project, and combined we probably have over 40 years of experience. And going into this project, you always wind up learning something from your experiences. And one thing I learned from this project, if you do a lot of pre-planning and getting everything there that you need and talking to the right people and making sure your access is good. And this is all before we even got on the job site. Probably almost 16 hours worth of work. Finding rock to get there on time, machines and everything. If you do that all right, almost anything is possible and it will run smoothly, even when you're in Bronx, New York. One of my most favorite things about this project, if you know me, is food. Besides building ponds, I love to cook and love to cook on the job sites for the guys and everything, but we didn't have to because we were, once again, in Bronx, and we had delivery services and this and that. It was really fun to be able to break bread and get some good food in there from all the different local restaurants. We had tacos from one local Mexican restaurant that were phenomenal. We'd get New York style pizza brought in. Once in a while the homeowners would bring stuff in. If you really want to know what I loved about this project, was being in New York City and having the most amazing food. If you haven't been there, you got to go check it out. Thanks everybody for watching the showcase on the Bronx Waterfall project. I hope you really liked what you saw here, and I hope some of those photos were inspirational for you. Remember, if you like what you saw here, don't forget to hit that like button, press that subscribe button, and ring the bell. It means a lot to me and my team here at Garden State Koi. Thanks for watching. Tune in next week for another awesome vlog. All in all, this project came out absolutely amazing. I am super proud of my award that I forgot at my house today.